to smelt it away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristen Bry. If you're looking for a new dentist, you should check out my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible. I can assure you that he will prioritize your needs no matter how sensitive, just like he did with mine. If you're due for a dental visit, Economwalk Dental Care has an $89 new patient special, so you can get the care that you need at an affordable price. In addition to my exam, Dr. Michael's staff provided a gentle, professional cleaning that left my mouth feeling smooth and rejuvenated. Listen, we all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Check out Economwalk Dental Care at drmichaelsdentalcare.com or give them a call at 262-567-7224. Start 2025 on a good note by feeling confident about your smile and go see my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
The Bucks head into the desert to outshine the Suns.
Here's a great feed. Lillard feeds Giannis, and Giannis rams it home on a tremendous two-man action there.
Our coverage starts tonight at 8:30. We are your home for the Milwaukee Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 11:01. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Monday, March 24th. Your top story, a sad day for the Marquette community.
I'm Jessica Tighe, back in court to defend deportations.
Some flurries flying around this morning, decreasing clouds, then breezy, a high of 44 degrees. Clear tonight and a low of 29. 34 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee. At 11:01 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom, a tragedy at Marquette University.
Marquette University police found a student dead in his off-campus apartment Thursday evening. 21-year-old John Kozer lived at Campus East on 14th and Wells. He was a senior, just weeks away from graduating from the College of Business Administration. Kozer was double majoring in finance and marketing and worked as a student employee at the Union Sports Annex. His death is still being investigated. The university is planning a mass to honor Kozer this week. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
The new face of Milwaukee public education is working to regain the public's trust in Wisconsin's largest school district.
In addition to addressing the ongoing lead crisis at Milwaukee Public Schools, Dr. Brenda Caselius tells WTMJ addressing issues brought up in Governor Tony Evers' audit of the district in February is also high on her list of priorities.
So that we have a lean, efficient organization that really responds to the public's trust.
Also on the superintendent's to-do list, reversing years of declining enrollment in the district.
All my children went to their neighborhood public school, and they had a great experience.
Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
A missing Dane County inmate is back in custody. 33-year-old Anthony Gilbert reported AWOL by police last Wednesday. He's serving a sentence for obstructing justice and possession of methamphetamines. Gilbert was taken back into custody without incident.
The U.S. Supreme Court is hearing a case today by non-black voters in Louisiana who want the state to get rid of one of its two congressional maps in majority-black districts. ABC's Devin Dwyer.
In Louisiana, 6 congressional districts, 4 of those Republican, 2 of those are Democratic, and those 2 Democratic districts are at the heart of this case. Both of those districts are majority black districts, and for many years, Louisiana only had 1 majority black district, even though more than a third of the state is made up of black voters. And this is a battle over why the state, and whether the state needed to draw a second majority black district.
The case has garnered legal challenges from civil rights groups like the NAACP. Louisiana state officials did approve the congressional map that's being challenged.
The Trump administration is challenging the court order by a federal judge that aimed to halt the deportation of Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador. A D.C. appeals court is hearing the case today. ABC's Terry Moran is following.
Attorneys for Jersey Reyes Barrios, a professional soccer player from Venezuela with reportedly no criminal record,
say he was apparently one of the men sent to El Salvador. They say he came to the United States border legally, seeking asylum in 2024, and was accused of being a gang member by law enforcement because they believed he had gang-related tattoos. So he was detained at the border, then deported to El Salvador without notice, the administration refusing to show any evidence that could confirm his alleged gang affiliation.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Surging markets today. The Dow up nearly 570 points at 42,550. The Nasdaq up nearly 400 points at 18,155. S&P up nearly 100 at 5672. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
The Brewers home opener is 1 week from today. Are you pumped? Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
Hey, moms, dads, grandparents, what are your plans for spring break? WTMJ's John Mercure here. I've got a great idea for you. With no school this week, you need an outing. Take your kids, take your grandkids to the amazing Mine Shaft Restaurant and Entertainment Center in Hartford for hours of safe and super affordable fun. I used to take my daughters there all the time. My nieces and nephews, too. They loved it. I loved it. The Mine Shaft has a world-class game room, over 70 games, including the most popular and easiest games, even for the youngsters. Today through Thursday, kids 5 and under eat free from the kids' menu. Monday and Thursday, when you buy one pizza, your second pizza is always free. Wednesday and Friday, the all-you-can-eat fish fry is $7.99. What a value. The Mine Shaft will entertain your kids this week during spring break, especially your teenagers. Grandparents, spend time with your grandkids at the Mine Shaft. They're going to love it. Downtown Hartford and off the highway in Oshkosh. Just walk in. It's big food. It's big fun. It's incredible. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
How do we keep our prices so low? That's easy. We've removed the middlemen. Yep, most landscape suppliers have a couple of them in there, and that's okay. But each one of those men in the middle means a higher cost for your mulch, decorative stone, flagstone, and boulders. Feel free to check around. For the quality of our products, you won't find better prices. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You know, most mulch is reclaimed from landfills, but Erickson's mulch is ground from whole trees. Yep, we process the mulch ourselves to keep the prices nice and low, and use only premium colorant so the beautiful look of new mulch lasts. At Erickson's, we never skimp, and that's why first-time shoppers become repeat customers. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk.
The Brewers take on the Rockies this afternoon in the final spring training game on the calendar. The team will travel to New York on Tuesday. A 3-game series with the Yankees begins the regular season on Thursday. Christian Yelich finished the spring hitting .344.
They're a great team. They have a lot of really talented players. It's going to be a tough series right out the gate, but it'll be fun. You know, I think we're going to go in there and try to match that energy, compete really hard, and see what happens. I think that's all you can do.
The Brewers' home opener will be played 1 week from today against the Royals at American Family Field. The Bucks Western Conference road trip resumes tonight in Phoenix against the Suns. Damian Lillard remains out with right calf soreness. Coverage begins at 8:30 on WTMJ. And the University of Wisconsin women's hockey team earns its second national championship in 3 years, beating Ohio State 4-3 in overtime.
Perfection. Greg, do you want to do an introduction?
That's 10-year-old Riley. My daughters are on spring break, and my wife was coming to pick them up in a little bit. She's probably terrified in the vehicle right now. She's listening to her daughter do a sportscast, but Riley wanted to do it today. Thought, why not?
Honestly, that was perfection. Way to go. We asked if she wanted to do sports or traffic, and she wanted to do sports. I said, like father, like daughter.
Nice job, Peter.
And sports probably sounds more fun than traffic.
You did good.
Let's get to traffic. Let's check out the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Not too bad. We do have one spot in Milwaukee County I want to let you know about. The right lane is closed in I-94 South Collector beyond College Avenue. They're doing some repairs, some maintenance work there, so just a heads up. Right lane closed in the I-94 South Collector beyond College Avenue because it needs to get some repairs done.
Well, I guess I'll handle weather then. It's going to be kind of chilly today. Flurries this morning, decreasing clouds, then breezy, a high of 44. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 29. Kind of stuck in a pattern here. Get some sun on Tuesday, but we're in the mid-40s for the bulk of the week, up to 54 on Thursday. Chance of rain on Friday and a high of 55. 34 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:10.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
So not all activities in the Matzek household are mommy-approved activities. That probably would not have been a mommy-approved activity, but congratulations to, I don't know, maybe aspiring sports reporter Riley for knocking that out.
Oh, I bet your wife is so proud. Probably surprised.
Did a great job. Riley is 10. She's in 4th grade. Our other daughter, Kendall, is with us here. It's spring break time, so you'll find this. You'd have to juggle things here and there, right? Random in-service days, parent-teacher conferences, things that pop up on the calendar where you just have nobody to watch your kids. Well, thankfully, they're well-behaved, and they're hanging out with us for a portion of the day today.
And maybe next year, Kendall will be like, oh, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah, she'll slide in.
I want to do weather. I want to do that.
We'll have them do the whole show.
Next year, I bet.
It's 11:11. Make a wish this Monday. Some big stories that we're on top of.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, Wisconsin is among the states with the lowest average tax returns. That's a finding from Lending Tree. People here in Wisconsin got an average refund of $3,580. That number is from 2022, which is the most recent data available. Wisconsin ranks 43rd among the 50 states in Washington, D.C. So the average return here in the Badger State is more than $800 lower than the national average.
That's interesting. I wonder what drives that.
You wonder who else is in that spot? Minnesota, Iowa, and Ohio also get less money back. The states with the highest average tax refund are Wyoming, Florida, Connecticut, and New York. And if you filed your taxes but you haven't received your return yet, you can go online to check the status. The IRS has that Where's My Refund tool. Have you ever used that? I've definitely used that.
You know, I have before. I typically file pretty early. And I think we owed federal but got state back. And we ended up with a little bit of a refund. I would say it's a little less than usual. But if you try and keep up with tax laws, you will drive yourself mad. You can't do it. You cannot keep up with tax laws. You know what I mean? It changes constantly at the national level and at the state level.
I used to do my taxes myself. My husband is now in charge of them, so I do not have a refund yet, and I can't even use that tool yet because we have not put ours in.
Oh.
But he'll be on it.
Fair enough. All right, got a couple of weeks. Hey, the countdown is on for opening day. So excited about this. In Milwaukee, at this time next Monday, the parking lots will be open at American Family Field. Brewers going to take on the Royals. President of Business Operations, Rick Schlesinger, on setting a vibe at the ball yard.
We want people, when they park, we want them to start feeling that they're going to be entertained, they're going to be excited, and we want that feeling to start as soon as they're in the parking lot.
Brewers still working on a celebration of life event for Bob Uecker. We do know it'll be later this summer. Details still being ironed out.
I think what we'll do is we'll announce the day, sometime in early April. We'll announce when that date's going to be in the summer, later summer, and then I think we'll roll out details as they become available because, this is a work in progress, and it's a labor of love for our folks to put it together.
Last spring training game today, then it's off to New York. Brewers will begin the regular season against the Yankees. Very tough way to start the season, but nonetheless, start with a bang, right? Should be fun.
Number 3, a recall on scooters scattered across the country. ABC's Chuck Sievertson has the details.
Segway recalling about 220,000 of its scooters sold across the U.S. because a mechanism can fail, causing the handlebars or stem of the scooters to fold. That's caused riders to fall off with some injuries ranging from bruises to broken bones, that according to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission.
This recall is eye-opening and a concern in the scooter market because folding mechanisms are standard features helping with portability. It's one of those things, okay, you can fold it up and then you can move it and quickly take it to where you need it. Well, imagine riding a scooter and then having it fold up on you while you're using it. Yikes.
I almost bought one of those at Costco last summer. They're just so fun, right? Just to cruise on the neighborhood. I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Yeah, well, speaking of Costco, the recalled scooters were sold nationwide at Costco, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and Sam's Club.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. They're out, by the way. The scooters are in downtown Milwaukee, the Bird and Lime scooters.
Oh, those scooters, yep.
They have popped up here in the month of March. I noticed them, and people were cruising around over the weekend. Friday, specifically. It was pretty nice out on Friday. A lot of visitors, too, with the NCAA tournament in town.
Yeah, those scooters are very popular.
11:14 on WTMJ. A popular service you may have used in the past or are continuing to use is going bankrupt. We'll explain the details after this.
Join your boy Tori Lowe and the Truth Team for our community cleanup on Saturday, April 12th. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com to sign up to volunteer at one of our 3 cleanup locations. Everyone who joins gets a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Register today by visiting truthcommunitycleanup.com. Bring the whole family to help clean our city. The Tori Lowe Cleanup is presented by 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Ray's Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, and Waste Management.
Boy, if you didn't spend time at Potawatomi Sportsbook over the weekend, you were missing out. The place to be to watch all the madness here in college basketball. What a great place to be, right? So much fun. The urgency, right? Everything ramped up. The emotional toll that it takes to watch college basketball games and buzzer beaters and all the like. Well, you can soak in all that energy at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Games start again on Thursday, right? Never a bad time to pop down to the Sportsbook and see what's happening. But games start again on Thursday and run through the weekend. It's a sports viewer's paradise. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook, 2,000 square foot video wall, great food, drinks, you name it. VIP lounge if you want a more private gathering. They got you covered. Bet above the rest and do it at Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I'm the football guy, definitely not the outdoor home projects guy. So when it comes to things like deck building, Excel Custom Decks is the true go-to expert. Family owned and operated, Excel Custom Decks uses the finest materials and products and combines that with superior craftsmanship. If you want your outdoor area to shine this summer, contact Excel Custom Decks now. Whatever you dream up for that perfect deck, pergola, or outdoor kitchen, Rob and his family can build it. Excel Custom Decks, decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com today.
Well, some morning flurries, nothing in the world of accumulation, but it was noticeable. 44 degrees your high today. Going to be breezy as well. It's par for the course here over the last several days. Wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. Overnight low of 29, back into the mid-40s. On Tuesday, it's 34 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:17.
The genetics testing company 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy protection. CBS News correspondent Nancy Chen says the company has been facing serious financial challenges for months.
Last fall, it announced major corporate restructuring, and that's when concerns of what could happen to users' data started surfacing. On Friday, the Attorney General of California, where 23andMe is headquartered, urged customers to request their information be purged. He says they should consider invoking their rights and directing the company to delete their data and destroy samples of their genetic material.
I would be doing that ASAP. And here's the thing. Have you used one of these? I have. Not 23andMe, though.
No, but it was a coin flip. My brother and I have, and really more him than me, had been on this quest to just trace our lineage as far back as possible. So he ended up using Ancestry.
Yeah.
But it was a toss-up. How far do we want to go? We felt pretty comfortable. We knew our ethnicities, so we chose the Ancestry route and yielded some incredible information. But I remember just kind of going back and forth. Well, which one do you want to do? Well, let's do this one. I'm glad we did.
Right? But then it makes you wonder. Okay, and this was something. I mean, there's some people who don't want to do this specifically for reasons like this. I know my husband hasn't done it, and he won't do it. I kind of felt like, whatever, it's fine. My mom really wanted me to do it. In fact, I remember, I think she might have ordered some of us boxes for Christmas or something like that. And she was like, do you have your results yet? Have you taken the test yet? Have you done it? And I'm like, not yet, Mom, I'll do it. She's like, do it now. I mean, that's how excited she was about this. And it is full of information. I went through Ancestry. But I'll tell you what, if Ancestry was in the same spot, I would be right now writing a little note and saying, please get rid of all my info. And who knows at this point if they're going to be able to do that, how quickly they'll do that, what's next.
Well, and it's a little different, right? In no way did we have to, submit a DNA test to Ancestry.com. It was more tracing your lineage, or we didn't go that route. I'm not sure if that's an option. So 23andMe is sort of different in your mechanism for getting your information.
So you didn't have to spit into a little something?
No, nothing like that. We did get connected with a family in Czechoslovakia. That's a really long story, but nonetheless, I would be very concerned, right? There are data breaches. There are things that happen over the course of time, but you always feel like when there's a data breach, you feel like there's some level of protection. If it's with a credit card or something along that line, if somebody ends up with my phone number, that's public record. But DNA brings in a very unique and different element when you talk about protective and sensitive information.
I think looking back on it, knowing what I know now, I might have decided not to do it because while it did provide a wealth of information, I really have not taken the time to go through it. There was so much information that I kind of set it aside and thought, okay, when I have time, I'm going to go through all of this and learn everything. And then here we are now, and I never did that. So I did a quick little skim, and that was it.
The company's value peaked in 2021. Looking back at this, nearly $6 billion. There was a booming interest in DNA testing kits. But for those who had done it, you just sort of pass that information on to others in your family, right? So if you didn't get on that early wave, what's going to compel you now 4 years later to do it? And maybe for some, but I can see how it would be hot for a moment and then just sort of fade off, and that's clearly what's happened here. That $6 billion in 2021 is massive.
I like how sometimes you'll get an email and it'll say, we think we found someone who may be related to you. And then you open it up and it's like your sister.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. Well, yep, she is.
Nailed it. Well done. Well done. It's 11:21 on WTMJ. The week's worth of weather after a soggy, wet weekend. Very windy as well. A lot of W's. We'll talk about it with TMJ4's Tyler Moore after this.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Gadish Foundation and CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. Yet at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Helping people and families seriously injured in accidents and standing up for victims to take the burden off their shoulders. Greg Matzek here. I want to tell you about Gruber Law Offices. Make a call to Gruber if you've been hurt in an accident. Let them handle the rest. You focus on healing. Let them focus on the legal aspect. It is Gruber Law Offices. Serving the people in the state for 40 years and giving back to the community, all very important. Locally known, nationally recognized. Visit gruber-law.com or call 414-276-6666.
IndyCar racing returns to the Milwaukee Mile at Wisconsin State Fair Park on August 23rd and 24th for the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250 weekend. Secure your seats in the grandstands for the best views of all the action. Plus, we've pulled out all the stops with incredible food and live entertainment in the epic free fan zone. Race tickets are on sale now at wistatefair.com. Get ready because IndyCar is back with the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250 August 23rd and 24th.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scafidi and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handle all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
I hope your house is still standing after the weekend. I don't know why. It feels like where we live in Menominee Falls specifically, It's like a wind tunnel in our general area. And I know it was windy, but ours, for whatever reason, our subdivision, it feels like another level.
Oh, yeah. Last night downtown, it was insane. It just, I mean, you could hear it. You could have the TV on and still hear the wind just everywhere.
We've discussed this many times. I never want the wind and the temperature to be equal, right? Is there ever a good sweet spot for that? Well, 40s is not a sweet spot, to be sure. Tyler Moore joins us, TMJ4 meteorologist. Kind of in a pattern here. It was wet, windy, kind of a nasty weekend, Tyler.
Yeah, tough one for sure. I was actually in Florida over the weekend, and I came back, stepped off the plane, and all of a sudden I was getting pelted with some sleet, some rain, and some snow. So a nice Wisconsin welcome back for sure.
We dealt with some rain, we dealt with some snow, and then we've had dry times. It's kind of been a hodgepodge lately. What do we have as we look ahead to the new work week here?
Yeah, it's still a little bit of everything in the forecast. I mean, this morning we still had some flurries, some snow showers north of Milwaukee. Saw a couple even out towards Waukesha as well. So, yeah, kind of felt winter-like this morning with those breezy winds and those snow showers. But, we're kind of close to average. 40s is still typical for this time of year, so we'll see that through Wednesday. I will say the pattern's pretty quiet for the middle of the week. We're not really looking at much. And then my attention's kind of focusing on later in the week, closer towards Friday and into Saturday. Now, I know people are going to be like, oh, this meteorologist, what is he talking about? But there's a huge spread in temperatures that we could see. I'm not sure if we're going to see 40s in a cold rain or 70s in severe storms. That's kind of the range that we're looking at in the forecast for Friday into Saturday. So we're kind of right on the borderline of some pretty crazy weather that we'll have to look for later in the week.
That's like two different seasons, like significantly two different seasons.
Yeah, and it could be where, Sheboygan, Fond du Lac is in the 40s and then Racine and Kenosha is in the 70s. Like, that's how close we're talking with the fronts with this system. So, yeah, it could be pretty interesting later in the week, too. We'll have to wait and see on how warm we can get. But some of the models do show maybe some 70s for Friday into Saturday if we can get in the warm sector of that next system coming late Friday into Saturday.
Tyler, were you among the many people who got out of Dodge recently just to kind of soak up the sun in a place down south?
Yeah, I got about 3 days of sunshine down in Florida. So my wife, we lived in Florida before we moved up here, back closer to family. But when I was down there, she started to work with some clients down there. So every spring, she goes down a lot to work for some accounting firms. And so I tagged along over the weekend with a couple of days off to thaw out just a little bit and feel the strength of the sun once again. But I'll tell you what, the airport on the way back was absolutely packed. I know it's spring break for a lot of people. So it was crazy how many people were in the airport.
And I think this Saturday coming up is supposed to be the busiest in Milwaukee as many people return from their trips.
Yeah, for sure. It's a spring break week for our family, so we'll be heading out in a couple of days and coming back on the weekend. Just in time for opening day, Tyler. I know we're about a week out, but any initial thoughts on what opening day might look like?
I think early on next week, it might be a little bit cool. I don't think it's going to be as bad as last year, but just kind of looking at the trends, we might get that little warm up towards Friday, Saturday, and then a little cool down on the backside. It doesn't look like any major systems are in the forecast right now. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we're still, like you said, a week away, but I'm not too concerned about the forecast for opening day. Obviously, it's not going to be sunny and 75, but it looks like it's not going to be that rain-snow mix that we saw last year. So hopefully better, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm thinking maybe upper 30s, partly cloudy, maybe some low 40s. So a little bit of a chilly one for those tailgating, but that's kind of the early forecast call at this point.
Should make it about 60 or so inside. We'll like that. All right, Tyler, we appreciate it. We'll check in again later this week.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, we'll talk to you on Friday.
11:27, news coming up. National headlines after this.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now, you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do, like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
From sliding framed, semi-frameless, or frameless glass shower doors, to heavy all-glass custom enclosures that can be built to fit any opening, at Less's Glass, we cover all the bases. But our biggest strength isn't only our selection. It's in our installation experience. We've been around nearly 40 years, and you only last that long if your installers leave the job the way your customers expect it to be left. Other places can sell you a glass shower enclosure, and some of those big guys may even be able to do it for a little cheaper. But the question you need to ask yourself is, will the job be done right? So remember, paying for quality only hurts once, but it does feel good when you get what you expect. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
It's 11:30. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, March 24th. Your top story, drunk driving arrests across southeast Wisconsin.
I'm Jessica Tighe. The best place to work is right here in Wisconsin.
Flurries this morning, then decreasing clouds, breezy and a high of 44. Gusty winds up to 35 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear and a low of 29. Sun returns on Tuesday. It'll be a mix of sun and clouds, but a pretty nice day and a high of 45. We stick in a pattern here on Wednesday, highs in the mid-40s. We finally get back into the 50s on Thursday. 54 your high expected on Thursday, 54 on Friday as well. 34 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franz, and a federal judge has denied a request to lift the temporary block on deportations under the use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport alleged gang members.
In this latest order, Judge James Boasberg says the president's use of the Alien Enemies Act is unprecedented, outside what he calls a typical wartime context. The judge says anyone subject to the presidential proclamation needs to be given the chance to challenge the government's assertions that they're members of Tren de Aragua. This afternoon, an appeals court above Boasberg will hear arguments as the Trump administration pushes to lift the judge's temporary restraining order, which for now blocks further deportations of Venezuelans under the 1798 law.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Extreme fire danger remains in North Carolina as fire crews battle major wildfires near Asheville, where areas are still reeling from Hurricane Helene. Pope Francis continues to recover from pneumonia at his Vatican residence, that after being discharged from the hospital over the weekend. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:31. Several arrests for drunk driving in southeastern Wisconsin over the weekend.
In Kenosha on I-94, a man was driving nearly 100 miles per hour with a child under 16 years old in the car. 33-year-old William Bush of Madison is now in custody for OWI third offense, felony bail jumping, and other charges. In the town of Addison on I-41, a 25-year-old man from Oshkosh reached nearly 130 miles per hour. He was arrested for OWI and speeding. In Jefferson County on I-94, state troopers arrested 49-year-old Malabay of Chicago for his 8th OWI offense. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
A drunk driver is recovering from serious injuries today after a rollover crash in Beaver Dam. Officers found 47-year-old Francisco Manigo just after 3 a.m. Saturday on State Highway 33. He started to go off the road at a curve, overcorrected, and lost control of the car. The car rolled several times and he was thrown out of it. Investigators say he was operating while intoxicated, speeding, driving more than 100 miles per hour, and not wearing a seatbelt. He was flown to the hospital for his injuries.
A Milwaukee man arrested in Two Rivers for stabbing a child. 22-year-old Dominic Liggins accused of stabbing a girl in the chest at a home near 21st and Madison Street. Police responded to the home about 10 o'clock Saturday night. A SWAT team had a brief standoff with Liggins before he was arrested. The girl was taken to the hospital for injuries. Charges are pending.
A Dane County inmate attempted to take his own life on Sunday. The 42-year-old tried to strangle himself in his cell Sunday morning. Deputies intervened and took him to the hospital. He does not have major injuries.
Named the best company to work for in the country, right here in Madison.
That company is Fairway Mortgage, independent company, 5,000 employees in all 50 states. Founded in 1996 by Steve Jacobson, Fairway was also recently named a top workplace by Forbes magazine. And Good Wisconsin Company on the list, 50 Wisco companies making the list, including Quick Trip, Associated Bank, West Bend Insurance, and Menominee Falls-based Alto-Sham. Fannie Mae and Progressive made the list on the national side. John Merkier, WTMJ News.
Road closures begin today in Fox Point. Lake Drive is closing from School Road to Dean Road so crews can replace water mains and upgrade storm sewers. Drivers will be detoured to Port Washington Road from Silver Spring or Brown Deer. The DOT hopes to reopen that road by the end of August.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
Enjoy a free dinner this week at the historic Fox and Hounds, one of the most unique and affordable supper clubs in Wisconsin. WTMJ's John Merkier here. I love the Fox and Hounds, one of my very favorite places. You will enjoy fabulous food and 90 years of history in the gorgeous stone and timber building. When you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free every single night, free. Seafood, choice steaks, short ribs, a real favorite, pasta, prime rib Wednesday and Saturday, even the steak and lobster, your second dinner is always free. Desserts and ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. I love that chocolate cake with the extra ice cream. Unwind with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, 20 bourbons to choose from, 100 wines from around the world. Wherever you live, it's worth the spectacular drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest for your free dinner. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill, escape from your kitchen with a free dinner this week. Man, that sounds great. Call and reserve, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
The most common reason pain sufferers come to us is to be able to perform their daily tasks without suffering through them. Grandparents who want to be able to take their grandkids on walks and to the park. Or those that just want to be able to get out of their vehicle with more ease than pain. Rejuvenex pain treatments can help, and the sooner you get to calming down that pain, the better it will be. These are powerful, FDA-approved pain treatments precisely administered with an extremely small needle to get to the root of your pain. And before you know it, you'll feel the anti-inflammatory power of Toradol and the cushioning relief of hyaluronic acid. Positive patient results are regularities, not rarities. And we do this conveniently in office, so it's very easy for you. And we're in network with most insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, which could mean zero out-of-pocket costs for your pain relief treatment.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. It's the Brewers and Rockies this afternoon, the final spring training game on the calendar. Brewers travel to New York on Tuesday. A 3-game series with the Yankees begins the regular season on Thursday. Nice spring for Christian Yelich. He's healthy. Hit .344.
They're a great team. They have a lot of really talented players. It's going to be a tough series right out the gate, but it'll be fun. I think we're going to go in there and try to match that energy, compete really hard, and see what happens. I think that's all you can do.
Brewers' home opener will be played 1 week from today against the Royals at American Family Field. And the Bucks' Western Conference road trip resumes tonight in Phoenix against the Suns. Damian Lillard remains out with right calf soreness. The game begins at 8:30 on WTMJ. And congrats to the University of Wisconsin women's hockey team. Its second national championship in 3 years and 8th overall. It defeated Ohio State 4-3 in overtime over the weekend.
Let's get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We do have a new disabled vehicle that just popped up a couple of minutes ago. Broken down vehicle on the exit to Rawson Avenue from 4194 South. Also in Milwaukee County, still dealing with this. The right lane is closed on I-94 South Collector beyond College Avenue because of repairs. They're doing some maintenance work, and because of that, the right lane is closed on I-94 South Collector beyond College Avenue.
Morning flurries, then decreasing clouds, breezy and a high of 44 degrees. Today, wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. Clear tonight, a low of 29. Sun and clouds on Tuesday, a high of 45. Wednesday's high 46. Back into the 50s for Thursday and Friday. 35 degrees and mostly cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:38.
It's the most cruel, hideous disease I have ever witnessed in my life.
That's Heather Miller talking about the disease her mother fought, frontotemporal degeneration, also known as FTD, a rare form of dementia. Her mother, Susan Sushin, is featured in a new documentary making its way through the film festival circuit right now. Its title is simple, Susan, after her mother. The director of the film is actually a former reporter here at WTMJ, Russ Kirkpatrick, and that's something I didn't know when looking into this film, and sure enough, so some of you will remember his name, Russ Kirkpatrick. His film follows Susan in the middle point between diagnosis and death. Susan's daughters, Heather Miller and Emily Grace Shireman, join us live right now to tell us more about the film, FTD, and their mother. Thanks for joining us, ladies.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
First off, I just want to say so sorry for your mother's loss and those years that you lost with her, because my stepdad has FTD, and I know how hard it is and how hard it is having lost your mother in those years before she even passed away. Heather, how do you explain FTD to people? Because people often hear dementia and think Alzheimer's, but it's different.
Yeah, so FTD and Alzheimer's are not the same thing. There's sort of the umbrella called dementia, and underneath that umbrella are lots of different forms of dementia. Alzheimer's, FTD, vascular, Lewy bodies, and there's a lot of different kinds of dementia. FTD really affects the frontal and the temporal lobes of the brain. So rather than really, like Alzheimer's really messes with your memory, FTD doesn't really mess so much with your memory. It's more of like your personality and who you are, how you react to things, being able to follow like the steps in a recipe, or doing math, even your personality, like what you like and what you don't like, how you react to things. So it is very different from Alzheimer's.
And Heather, how did you witness those changes with your mom?
Oh gosh. Well, before we'd ever heard the ugly words FTD, we thought that our mom was having a midlife crisis. She was, late 40s, early 50s, and she just started acting completely out of character. She up and left the love of her life, a relationship she had been in for well over 11 years. She didn't want to spend time with her children, with her grandchildren. I mean, this was just like a stark contrast to the person that my mom was, but we attribute it to, she's got to be going through some sort of midlife crisis or something. So that's what we first noticed different with her.
So Emily, I'm reading that your mother was early on diagnosed with an early onset Alzheimer's, but that was a misdiagnosis. What was it, in your opinion, that led doctors to believe she was going down the path of full-fledged Alzheimer's?
I think some of the symptoms can be similar, but I also think that my mom pushed to really express that something was going on with her, and that it wasn't right. She knew that she was losing who she was, and losing parts of her brain that were not working properly anymore. I think she really fought for that, to try to be able to speak to these doctors to let them understand this isn't just your Alzheimer's. There's something else going on here, and she really pushed for that.
Emily, everyone deals with this differently. It's so hard for the person diagnosed, but it's incredibly hard on the family too. How hard was it for you, and how did you deal with this?
For me, the memories that I had with my mom, I really wanted to hang on to that. I did not want the disease to take that away from me. So I was a little more distant, especially as she began to progress. I stayed a little more distant. My sister really stepped in and was great with taking care of Mom, but it was harder for me to watch her go through that, to have such a strong, vibrant, fierce person, and to watch that kind of get stolen from her and robbed from me. I just wanted to hold on what I did have before she was diagnosed and before the signs and symptoms.
So Emily described a sense of awareness that your mother had. Heather, how difficult was that seeing your mother, just sort of deteriorate or change right in front of your very eyes. She knew she had something but couldn't do anything about it. What sort of feeling of helplessness did that leave you?
It was truly the most difficult thing that I have had to do yet in this life, to watch my very best friend, my mom, the person who raised me, who instilled right from wrong, who was my biggest cheerleader, my very best friend, the grandmother to my children, turn into somebody that slowly but surely we were switching roles, and to have to watch her struggle. And she was very articulate, and you can see that in the film. She had this uncanny ability to be able to articulate how she felt and what was happening to her. So on one hand, it was very helpful, but on another hand, I think it just elevated the feeling of helplessness. I really thought that, it would be better if she just wasn't aware that she was becoming unaware, that she was changing. At least only we would have to suffer the heartbreak and deal with that. But it was both of us going through it at the same time, and not being able to stop it or to fix it was extremely heartbreaking and frustrating.
That's something that I find fascinating when going through and looking at this film, because in my stepdad's case, he can no longer speak. And we always wonder, does he even understand what's happening to him right now? So in your mother's case, she could speak for a while, though her capabilities changed. What did she tell you about why she wanted to do this film?
My mom wanted to do this film because she became a staunch advocate for those living with dementia. And, there's all these conferences and help for people as caregivers, care partners, and there was, stuff for researchers. But she's like, what about us, the people who are actually living through this? Why is nobody asking our opinion on and getting our insight on what we need? Because you guys are planning, to try to find a cure, which is great. And you're trying to help our care partners, have tools to be able to help us better. But you're all acting like it's just a death sentence. There is life to be had. And who's going to help us live a quality life? So she really just dove headfirst into advocating. And she knew how lonely we all felt when she was diagnosed. We had no information. It was just the most lonely, desperate feeling, and we did not want anybody else to have to feel that way. And her hope for this film was that we would be able to reach the masses so that nobody else diagnosed has to feel alone, and so that more people can be aware of what FTD is, what age ranges it affects, and other people maybe don't have to lose precious years with their loved ones in arguments and struggles, thinking they're in a midlife crisis when they could just jump to, maybe she's got dementia. So the goal is for this film to help others.
A big thank you to your mother for that. Emily, I know when my stepdad was diagnosed, I had never heard of FTD before. And being in the media, I feel like even if I don't know everything about something, I feel like at least I've heard of it. I remember going to Google and just searching and searching and searching for information. When you guys initially heard about your mother's diagnosis, had you ever heard of it before? I know Heather had mentioned, had you heard of it before? And what did you find out through the later years? I know now Bruce Willis has been diagnosed, and so that's putting a little bit of a spotlight on it. But there's still, it seems like, even some doctors who really don't know what FTD is.
That's right. I personally had never heard of that before. I wanted to put it, in the same category as like Alzheimer's, but it's not. Because of my mom's advocacy and hopefully because of this film, it is going to educate more. Watching my mom be such a strong advocate and trying to help others, that's where I learned the most. And I was able to educate myself a little bit more on what FTD was. So again, with this film, hopefully it will give others the same, because there's just not enough on it at all for anybody to really put their finger on exactly what this is.
Well, there's not much behind it, right? You can read, you can talk to doctors, you can read any sort of periodical, but this is different. This is a real life setting. This is a real life situation. Heather, how can people find out more information or view this film? Where is it right now in the film circuit?
So right now it is not available for the public to see yet. We are going through film festivals, and the producers are working on the best avenue still. So right now it is not available, but there is a website. You can sign up for the newsletter. We have a Facebook page. So there's a lot of ways that you can connect and stay up to date on what's coming next with the film. We're really excited. It will be released this year. We just aren't positive where or how yet. That's still being worked out.
Well, thank you so much. That is Heather Miller and Emily Grace Shireman. I appreciate you guys talking and shedding a light on FTD, and certainly your mother as well. I'm so sorry for her loss, but we are so thankful that she wanted to create this film to spread awareness and shine a light on frontotemporal degeneration, because so many people don't know about it and more people need to know so we can work to find a cure, because right now there is no cure. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
11:49 is the time.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
We are with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Our Pella team simplifies the process, taking time to listen and find the right solution for you. And right now, get 0% interest for up to 72 months. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
Hey, WTMJ's Greg Matzek. I want to tell you about some new friends of mine. They are Bumblebee Blinds. Bumblebee Blinds. Have you heard of them? Simple Google search will take you right there. Bumblebee Blinds. It's a husband and wife-owned team, and they do what we need them to do, right? They set up window treatments, blinds, anything to help beautify your home's interior around your windows, transforming your home with custom blinds that'll fit your style and needs. They've got a design eye. They've got an engineering eye. Things that work, things that look great in your home. And here's the differentiator. Custom blinds, expert advice, stress-free installation, and free consultations at your home. In fact, in most cases, you'll walk away with a quote for the job before they even leave. After the first time, come into your house. Bumblebee Blinds. They make it easy to refresh your home. Book a free consultation with them. We'll be doing that before too long. When we built our house about 8 years ago, we did next to nothing in the world of window treatments. We weren't sure where we wanted them or what it was going to look like. Well, things have changed. Styles have changed, and now we're in a great spot to add Bumblebee Blinds to our home. High-quality blinds, professional guidance, and stress-free information. Check out Bumblebee Blinds. See what the buzz is all about at Bumblebee Blinds.
The Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center is here in New Berlin, and it's ready for you and your team. From little leaguers to hardcore players and trainers, this is the place you'll want to be.
You can't beat Burkhart.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristen Bry. If you're looking for a new dentist, you should check out my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible. I can assure you that he will prioritize your needs no matter how sensitive, just like he did with mine. If you're due for a dental visit, Economwalk Dental Care has an $89 new patient special, so you can get the care that you need at an affordable price. In addition to my exam, Dr. Michael's staff provided a gentle, professional cleaning that left my mouth feeling smooth and rejuvenated. Listen, we all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Check out Economwalk Dental Care at drmichaelsdentalcare.com or give them a call at 262-567-7224. Start 2025 on a good note by feeling confident about your smile and go see my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Windy and a high of 45 today after some morning flurries. Nothing to worry about in terms of accumulation, but it's blowing around a little bit. Overnight low of 29, 46 your high on Tuesday. Back into the 50s by Thursday and Friday. It's 36 degrees and mostly cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:53.
How much sleep does a person really need? I bet the answer for many is, well, more than I got last night.
Need or want, right? I feel like that's right, exactly, right? How much do you need and how much do you want? Probably very different answers.
CBS News correspondent Michael George has the answer.
Sleep scientists say it depends. The Associated Press reports doctors generally believe 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night is best for your health, and getting less than 6 hours or more than 9 hours on average is bad for you. But experts add that everyone is different, and sleep quality may be more important than sleep quantity.
I do think that is key, the quality as well.
Sure.
Because right now I'm getting more sleep than I used to get because 17 years as a morning news anchor. I mean, I was, sometimes 5 hours, 4.5 hours, especially depending on if you had a full day, you had breaking news, and then maybe you were emceeing an event. I mean, then even if you get home, you can't just go to bed, right? Your body needs to wind down a little bit. So I definitely was lacking sleep for a long, long time. So I'm filling up that sleep tank a little bit. Probably don't get as much as you should. But I also think if you can go to bed and just sleep through, that quality is key. I get that.
So that's a big deal, right? Are you tossing and turning? Are you kind of awake? Do you go to your phone at 2 a.m. to try and put you back to sleep, which probably doesn't help? Does the dog need to go out? There are all sorts of sleep disruptors that happen. The weather last night, it was windy. I was hearing it going to bed. I was able to fall asleep, and my wife struggled a little bit more than I did. 8.5 hours I think I had last night.
Nice. That sounds good. Perfect.
Most often I'm around 8, right? It's like, the 10 o'clock news, and then I'm off to bed after that, typically. So, but it's been consistent. I think your body adjusts and adapts. If you're great on 6 hours of sleep and that's what you get, and it's consistent and it's quality sleep, yeah, no issues. Your body will be just fine. Your body loves a routine.
Yes,
as
I
much
agree.
as anything.
I agree because I was in that routine of not getting enough sleep, and while my body probably didn't like it, I definitely was. Nobody would know. Nobody would have known. I do feel like as you age, though, I feel like I do. I don't think I can be as good as I was on that little sleep anymore. I do think age catches up with you a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah. But 8 hours of sleep, that's fantastic. I'm usually more like 6 to 7. But after getting so little sleep before, if I get
Probably
7, it feels like, okay, wow, 7 hours of sleep. Okay.
11:56 on WTMJ. We've got news coming up.
Since the Wisconsin weather isn't up to speed yet.
It's not that scary, and you could use a little sun, trust me.
Outside bad. The sun's scary.
A little sun doesn't sound like a threat.
I'm not afraid of the sun anymore.
How's the moon treating you?
Not a fan. Safer.
The Bucks head out to Phoenix to take on the Suns.
Lillard's got it top of the arc. He's going to try to answer, and he connects again.
Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 8:30. We are the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
Well, Siding Unlimited did it again. This is pretty amazing stuff. Siding Unlimited, my trusted contractor for anything to help beautify my home's exterior. They won another award from Pella. This is a national award. Pella Platinum, Premier, Certified Contractor of the Year, Siding Unlimited. That means Siding Unlimited's got the great products, Pella Windows, and they have the best installations team. In fact, Pella recognized Siding Unlimited as the best installers of their high-quality products in the country. Wow. Why would you go anywhere else? If you're looking to beautify your home's exterior, it's siding, roofing, doors, windows, and more. It is Siding Unlimited. Ask them about patio projects, decking, pergolas. They did a wonderful job with our landscape lighting. Got cool stuff. I can dial it up on my phone, the lights in my patio, change the colors. That makes everything a lot easier and cool. It's Siding Unlimited. Check them out online at sidingunlimited.com.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is is not indicative of future performance.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just one dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
The Bucks head into the desert to outshine the Suns.
Here's a great feed. Lillard feeds Giannis, and Giannis rams it home on a tremendous two-man action there.
Our coverage starts tonight at 8:30. We are your home for the Milwaukee Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 12 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Monday, March 24th. Your top story, a teen is dead after a reckless driving crash.
I'm Jessica Tighe. This is a sure sign of spring.
Decreasing clouds today, breezy, a high of 44 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear and a low of 29. Back into the mid-40s under cloudy skies on Tuesday. 35 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12 o'clock. From the WTMJ breaking newsroom, a reckless driving crash in West Dallas leaves one teenager dead and 2 injured. It happened around 5:45 Saturday evening near 116th Street and Theo Trecker Way near Rainbow Park. West Dallas police received multiple calls of a car driving recklessly and found it rolled over when they arrived. One teenager suffered serious injuries and later died at the hospital. 2 teens suffered minor injuries. No other vehicles were involved in the crash.
Presenting the plan to prevent lead exposure in public schools to the Milwaukee Health Department.
Milwaukee Public Schools submitted its plans to MHD, including its next steps to assess, address, and prevent lead hazards in district buildings. According to the submitted plans, MPS will prioritize older schools with the youngest learners for remediation first. The district has also hired 10 new staff members to help with lead cleanup and to help direct contracted employees. School inspections for lead across the district's oldest schools should be complete in May, but no details have yet been revealed on whether any other schools in the district are free of lead dust. Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
3 schools remain closed this week because of lead dust remediation.
The federal judge in Washington reviewing the Trump administration's use of a wartime deportation power has denied a request that he lifted his temporary restraining order, blocking further use of the 1798 law on alleged Venezuelan gang members. ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
In this latest order, Judge James Boasberg says the president's use of the Alien Enemies Act is unprecedented, outside what he calls a typical wartime context. The judge says anyone subject to the presidential proclamation needs to be given the chance to challenge the government's assertions that they're members of Tren de Aragua. This afternoon, an appeals court above Boasberg will hear arguments as the Trump administration pushes to lift the judge's temporary restraining order, which for now blocks further deportations of Venezuelans under the 1798 law.
Sources tell ABC News the IRS is looking to help out with deportation efforts, specifically accessing sensitive, private taxpayer data to help confirm names and addresses of deportees.
Limited weather balloon launches because of budget cuts to NOAA. UW-Madison atmospheric and oceanic sciences professor Michael Morgan tells NBC 26 how this impacts severe weather forecasting.
I think in situations in which severe weather is likely imminent,
they may be able to ease back on that and be able to launch as necessary in those conditions.
The weather balloon sent back data about temperature, dew point, humidity, wind speed, and more to support forecasts.
A sure sign of spring. Peregrine falcons have laid the first eggs of the season. This year's egg is at the Oak Creek Power Plant. We Energy says it's the first one for bird parents Essity and Joel. They will take turns incubating the egg until the chick hatches in a few weeks. You can see a photo of the red speckled eggs and videos from the live nest boxes. It's on our website, WTMJ.com. Wisconsin, amazingly, home to 20% of all peregrine falcons hatched in the United States.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is coming up on 12:04.
He's Donald Trump's right-hand man, Elon Musk. And now Musk is trying to buy Brad Schimmel a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court because Musk knows when you buy Schimmel, he'll do whatever you want. Like when Schimmel gave a plea deal to a man caught with child porn after the man's lawyer gave Schimmel thousands of dollars. And Schimmel will ban abortion with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of the mother. Deeply corrupt and totally extreme. That's the real Brad Schimmel. There's a better choice.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I've made sure rapists, murderers, and child predators were behind bars.
Protecting your family and your most basic rights. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
And I trust women to make their own healthcare decisions. Brad Schimmel doesn't, but I always will.
So on April 1st, vote for Judge Susan Crawford, Supreme Court. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Lots of green today. The Dow surging up nearly 450 points at 42,430. NASDAQ up about 350 points today at 18,133. S&P 500 up 85 at 5752. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today. Who's this turkey? Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. And they're the best. Let them make outdoor living unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is here for you.
Desk. It's the final Cactus League game of the season for the Brewers. They'll take on the Rockies this afternoon. No broadcast today. Our next broadcast of Brewers baseball will be the opener on Thursday in New York against the Yankees. Christian Yelich figures to be in the lineup after a positive spring. Looking forward to starting the season in New York.
They're a great team. They have a lot of really talented players. It's going to be a tough series right out the gate, but it'll be fun. I think we're going to go in there and try to match that energy, compete really hard, and see what happens. I think that's all you can do.
Home opener is scheduled for a week from today against the Royals at American Family Field. Bucks Western Conference road trip picks up tonight in Phoenix against the Suns. Damian Lillard remains out with right calf soreness. Coverage begins at 8:30 on WTMJ. Had a great weekend for the Wisconsin women's hockey team. They pick up its second national championship in 3 years, beating Ohio State 4-3 in overtime. The Badgers were down 3-2 with like 30 seconds left, scored on a penalty shot, and then ended up winning the game in overtime. Crazy.
Yeah, it was wild. My husband was all excited about that. Did you see that one? I didn't actually see it live, but heard about it.
And sort of picks up the slack a little bit after the Badgers lost in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
so
that stings.
Congrats to the Wisconsin women's team. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We're not doing too bad. I want to let you know DOT is still reporting that the right lane is closed on the I-94 South Collector beyond College Avenue because of repairs that need to be made, but I don't see that actually happening, so it's possible that has now ended because I don't see it on the cameras. But if you're driving and you happen to notice that the right lane is closed at some point on the I-94 South Collector beyond College Avenue, let us know. But right now it looks like that has cleared.
Lots of clouds today and a high of 44 degrees. Wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. Overnight low of 29. Sun and clouds on Tuesday. Partly cloudy on Wednesday with a high of 46. 54 the high on Thursday. 55 chance of rain on Friday. 36 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
I'm always extra cognizant of the weather when you have big events in downtown Milwaukee that'll attract visitors from all over the place, especially warm weather climates. So the fact that, Ole Miss from Mississippi was among the teams here, Lipscomb out of Nashville playing in the NCAA tournament, boy, it seemed like Friday was the home run. If you walked around downtown on Friday in the late afternoon, early evening, there was a great buzz. The bars were packed. The Deer District was packed. A lot of pictures being taken. And I spoke with a few people from out of town, a couple people from Kentucky. They said they love coming to Milwaukee. They'd been here before. Of course, there's a Wisconsin connection. One had family in the northern part of the state. But they said Milwaukee is one of those hidden gems, easy to get to. They drove. I get the feeling people had a good experience this weekend.
Love that. Seemed like it. As I was leaving work, so Friday night, this place, Third Street Market Hall, I typically will walk out through the market hall. Sometimes I walk up through the second floor, but it's just kind of fun. You feel the energy. And wow, Third Street Market Hall was packed. It was absolutely packed. People were buzzing, getting ready to go to the game. Some people had returned from the games. But I will say, this place was full of Kentucky fans. Kentucky was representing. I saw a couple Iowa State sweatshirts, which kind of made me laugh because it was just like a sea of Kentucky, and then a couple other fans here and there. But what a cool spot. I was so happy that those out-of-town fans found this spot to go to because it's a great one. It's a fun one.
Well, keep in mind, Iowa State played at 12:30, right? So they were sort of like the transitional late afternoon, kind of getting their way to maybe to dinner, while Kentucky and Illinois fans were just coming in. Right, so their day started quite a bit later. I was looking ahead here, looking at preliminary round sites. They've got it built out through 2028, and Milwaukee is not on the list here in 26 or 27, or 28 for that matter. So the earliest the tournament could come back to Milwaukee with one of these early rounds is 2029 for those keeping score at home.
Woo, 2029. It feels far off, but it's really not.
No, it's not. It's pretty consistent with the rotation. And Milwaukee is definitely in the rotation. They've done this a number of times and always do a great job.
Yeah, so much fun in the Deer District.
Yeah. 12:11 on WTMJ. As we flip to the noon hour, we're tracking some big stories.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
The Trump administration is considering an arrangement with the Internal Revenue Service that would make tax records from people who are undocumented available. And that could lead to more deportations. ABC's Terry Moran is on the story.
Sources tell ABC News that the IRS is looking to help out with deportation efforts. The arrangement is not finalized yet, but the IRS might be able to help immigration officials access sensitive, private taxpayer data to help them confirm names and addresses of deportees.
This is a big deal. A lot of people are watching this closely because if this deal gets done, it would break decades of the IRS policy keeping taxpayer information strictly confidential.
Number two, a U.S. delegation, including the Second Lady and President's National Security Advisor, visiting Greenland this week, the Danish territory that President Trump says he would like the United States to control. Greenland, not happy about it. More from CBS News correspondent Peter King.
Back in January, Greenland's prime minister was asked if he had spoken to Donald Trump.
No.
Egede said no at the time, but was willing to talk to him. In an interview over the weekend, though, he calls the visit by the Second Lady and National Security Advisor highly aggressive and says Greenlanders' efforts to be diplomatic, quote, bounces off Donald Trump and the administration. He says the visit serves only to demonstrate U.S. power. Recent surveys show Greenlanders don't want to become part of the U.S., but do want better relations. Peter King, CBS News.
Largest island in the world. They have a population of about 57,000. It's a massive plot of land, an absolutely massive plot of land. It's also a founding member of NATO and home to a large U.S. military base and increasingly shipping channels. have opened. And if you look where it is strategically on the map, it's not very far from Russia. So it is an interesting territory, no doubt. If you go to President Trump's executive orders, if you visit congress.gov, you can do this.
That is fun to do. Yeah,
it's really interesting. You can see every executive order that Donald Trump has signed and tried to put into action.
Don't they want to make his birthday a holiday? I feel like that was one.
There was one that said Donald Trump would go on the $100 bill and on the $250 bill after creating a $250 bill. I'm not making this up. There is also the Red, White, and Blue Land Act of 2025. The bill authorizes the president to enter into negotiations with the government of Denmark to purchase or otherwise acquire Greenland. The bill also renames Greenland as Red, White, and Blue Land.
It's the bill.
I'm not making this up.
Hasn't happened, but it is a bill.
It's a thing. Visit congress.gov. It is on there.
That's too long, isn't it?
It's a little clunky.
Where are you going? We're going to go to Red, White, and Blue Land.
How do you fit it on a license plate?
That actually sounds kind of nice.
It sounds like a theme park.
Well, the Sweet 16 is now set. After 2 rounds and a weekend of exciting action, we now know who's advancing to the Sweet 16 and the NCAA men's tournament. The Duke Blue Devils, often a top contender, easily defeated Baylor. CBS Sports basketball insider Adam Finkelstein says Duke is again considered a top contender for the title.
And I think they have been the best team. Now, in order to win a national championship, they're first going to have to get to San Antonio. Their prime competition is widely perceived to be Auburn. Florida is another team that is going to pose a legitimate threat. So I think the Blue Devils, though, are the most impressive team coming out of the first weekend of the tournament.
Unfortunately, for all of us fans here in Wisconsin, Marquette and Wisconsin are not moving on in the tournament. New Mexico beat Marquette in Game 1 on Friday. Wisconsin won the first game, but lost to BYU on Saturday. So,
that was a wild game, right? The Badgers looked out of it, and really out of it. They were down double digits in the second half, and in the blink of an eye, they had a chance to tie or win at the buzzer. Their best player, who scored 37 points, came up just short on a little baseline jumper. So frustrating end to a very good season. I would say for both teams, Marquette really faded down the stretch. They kind of limped into the tournament. But I was looking back, neither team, for all the success they've had in the regular season, they don't really have any significant tournament wins in about a decade. Marquette's last significant win came in 2013. They beat a number 2 seed. The Badgers' last significant win, 2017, when they beat number 1 seeded Villanova. But since then, they've had very little success, if any, against single-digit seeds in the tournament.
Well, I had both Marquette and Wisconsin going farther than they did. I didn't have them winning at all, which this is interesting. So we both filled out a bracket.
Yes.
We've got a little morning show team going on. The Midday team has one, too, and the afternoon. And so we filled one out here on Midday, and we didn't know. We didn't even discuss who we were picking. I mean, obviously, I wasn't picking my alma mater, Indiana, because it wasn't a choice. But I went ahead with Florida, and I almost picked Duke. And the only reason I didn't is because I feel like I've picked Duke in past years, and Duke is always a contender, so I just kind of wanted to do something different. And I thought maybe it's the year of the Gator. But then, Greg, you picked Florida, too.
Yeah, we have the same championship set up, and we're tied right now, by the way, in our standings.
Yes, we are.
Gina is in the lead. She has Tennessee as the champion. Those are big points if you get the final game right.
So it could come down to a tiebreaker. And you know what? Jessica Tighe is the tiebreaker.
How many times have you said that?
Maybe 3.
The games resurrect themselves. The tournament kicks back up on Thursday of this week. Should be a lot of fun. 12:16 on WTMJ, our weekly check-in with MMAC Senior Advisor Tim Sheehy on the other side. The Microsoft plan and project has stalled toward the corridor of the state line. What's the reasoning for it? We'll get into it after this.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
So today we're told the officers were paired up and they were in the halls in schools together. We were told it went without incident.
And diving into the details with Julia Fellow.
I had them growing up in my school. I felt like it was a relationship building. You got to know the officers. They got to know the community better.
Tune in to Wisconsin's afternoon news, where your day's story unfolds. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Only here on WTMJ.
Got to enjoy some Palermo's pizza over the weekend. That's always a good thing. That was a Saturday evening delight for us. A Screamin' Sicilian on the table, watching hoops with the family. Had a lot of fun. Filled out a family bracket as well. The kids are loving that. Winner gets to go wherever they want to for dinner. It's not a bad idea, right? Well, Palermo's is always a good idea for dinner. Wisconsin's hometown pizza made for 60 years. 60 years. That's amazing. Longevity, doing it the right way, that's Palermo's. Pizzeria taste without the pizzeria prices. Check out Connie's Frozen Pizzas. Right now, a screaming deal on the Connie's Frozen Pizzas. All natural ingredients, delicious. Turn your kitchen into a pizzeria with 2 for $10 at Piggly Wiggly through the 25th. Still got another day to take advantage. 2 for $10. Connie's Pizza, made by Palermo's at Piggly Wiggly, now through the 25th. Wisconsin's hometown pizza is Palermo's.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtebeck Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Hey, voters! Taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. We be taking care of business.
12:19ish on a Monday, our weekly check-in with MMAC Senior Advisor Tim Sheehy, who missed last week because you had just had your wisdom teeth pulled.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's the fastest way to lose 10 pounds you'll ever find.
Are you okay?
But better to do it 16 than my age.
So do you mind if I ask why you had to get them out now? Because I thought I was late. I got mine out in my 40s because I finally had a dentist say, you really need them out. I'm like, what? All my life, my dentist told me I had room. So I'm kind of curious what your situation was.
Yeah, I mean, the explanation to me was that your mouth can get crowded. It's hard to clean, and then that can cause issues down the road. So,
but you didn't have an issue.
I didn't have an issue that I knew of, but they didn't want a future issue, so out they came, and along with it, all the wisdom.
Well, we'll challenge you. I beg to differ. A new report showing some impressive data here, Tim, on the economic growth in the Milwaukee to Kenosha corridor. We've talked about this for the last year or so. What do the numbers suggest and what's driving that growth? There's a lot of space and land down there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think the most important thing to understand is what drives economic growth. You know, we think about schools, hospitals, people spending money in the community, but that doesn't drive economic growth. What drives economic growth are companies that are located here that have no customers here. They export a good or service outside the region. They bring new money in. That's what gets spent in the region. So when we look at companies down in that corridor like Haribo, like Eli Lilly, like Microsoft, those companies are new to the region. They're creating new jobs. They're exporting a good or service outside the region and bringing new money in. So we looked at Racine just over the last 5 years, and it was really startling to see that in Racine alone, 414 new projects. So these could be housing developments, they could be other small businesses growing, 11,000 new jobs and 15,000 new housing units, or a combined $2.8 billion in growth over the last 5 years. And that's coming because these companies are moving here or expanding here, giving us more opportunity.
Speaking of economic growth in that Racine and Kenosha counties area, I'm sure a lot of people saw the story last week that Microsoft stopped some of the work on that big data center in Mount Pleasant. Some people kind of thought, I know Greg had mentioned it, like, is this going to be like a Foxconn thing? I'm not worried about it because I remember Foxconn and looking into Foxconn, and I feel like that's a whole other kit and caboodle. But it does make people pause and say, what's going on here?
Well, it's been a long time since I heard kit and caboodle.
I don't know. It just came out. Yeah, it just came out. It's not something I say often either.
You nailed it.
Yes. So here's the thing to know about Microsoft, that this data center business is fast changing. The technologies are changing. But what Microsoft hasn't done is change its commitment to $3.3 billion of capital investment and 2,000 jobs. That's on track. As the future goes, there are going to be different ways to build these data centers, and I think that's what resulted in the pause. But they haven't backed off the commitment that they made here to invest $3.3 billion in the building, and I think it'll be multiple times that when the equipment comes in. 2,000 people which are working on the construction right now, and then 2,000 jobs that will continue. So I'm not concerned either about the pause in terms of its impact on what Microsoft promised.
Tim, what's the latest data on the region's economy and how it's navigating through these challenges of tariffs, immigration crackdown, and so on?
Yeah, great question. So MMAC has been tracking the data for the metro area, for a long time. But one marker to look at is how many jobs did we have, non-farm jobs in the region pre-COVID, right? And so that number was 869,000. So you think about where we are today, we have 863,000 jobs. So while we've had good economic growth, we're still about 6,000 jobs short of our peak pre-COVID. And we estimate with low to moderate growth in 25, we'll catch back up. But that just means we're even with where we were pre-COVID.
Another big topic right now, Milwaukee Public Schools always is, right? That's not going away. The city and MPS have now settled this long-running disagreement about the funding and the need for school resource officers. We now have school resource officers back in some of the schools. Some people are asking why. At the end of the day, why are these SROs necessary in schools? What is driving this high-profile issue?
Yeah, and the Journal-Sentinel did some great coverage on this, but just kind of from a basic standpoint, I don't think MPS, at least the board, really wanted school resource officers back, and the city didn't really want to pay for them. Now, as you said, that's all been resolved. But if you look over the past decade, MPS has roughly 60,000 students. There have been 4,000 police calls a year to MPS schools. Now, that doesn't paint the whole district as a challenge. It's just the facts are the facts, right? So an average of 4,000 calls a year. Now, some of them are for accidents, entry, alarms going off. But a quarter of those calls were for fights, battery, robbery, threats, and sex crimes. So this is serious stuff going on in some of these schools. And a third of all of the calls came from just 11 schools. And so there is a call for having school resource officers, I think, in the schools, because keeping students and teachers safe is number one. And number two is if they're safe, they can learn. And so there are some real challenges that require, I think, a presence when you're having that many calls in a school district.
I was looking ahead here, Tim. Future sites for the NCAA tournament. Looks like the next window for Milwaukee is 2029. They've got it built out through 2028. Milwaukee not in that mix, but part of that rotation. It was a pretty fun weekend if you were in downtown Milwaukee.
Oh, fantastic. I think the Visit Milwaukee said something like 19,000 people, but just the energy downtown, you drive by, there's the Kentucky buses, there's the Illini buses. People were out. And again, I think it's a great way to expose Milwaukee to lots of people who haven't been here. And from all reports, they came away really impressed outside the Fiserv Forum. What happens inside is up to the team.
Yeah, right. Yeah, can only do so much, but right. It's event marketing at its finest. You are associating a high-powered, high-energy, incredible event. Where did you have that great time? I had it in Milwaukee.
And I think the first round is a great round to have. You've got 8 teams.
Yes.
And you've got a lot of people who are just going to spend money because they know their team isn't going past this round.
That's true. That's a good point. But hey, it's just another big event. I mean, we had the RNC. People were praising Milwaukee for that. Now you've got the NCAA tourney, first round of that. So, I mean, what's next? People coming for Summerfest. They'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, you've got cruises this summer, and it kind of just builds our sea legs in terms of being able to have an environment where visitors can really enjoy it and come back and tell other people about it.
And the Brewers begin next week. Just like that, right into our summer.
There we go.
12:26. Always great to check in with Tim Sheehy of the MMAC. Appreciate it, Tim. Thank you.
Thank you.
12:27, we'll call it. News coming up.
Hey, boaters! It's a boater's do-it-yourselfer's dream store. Kendor Marine stocks thousands of boat parts and supplies. Just about everything you'd ever need to keep your boat up and running. Whether it's common or something you think might be discontinued, you can bet on us having it. So don't be surprised when we have just what you need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey, boaters!
Some call them oddball parts, but we call them a huge part of our inventory. Dave Doro here from Kendor Marine. With thousands of boat parts and supplies stocked right here in our store, you won't have to look elsewhere. If you need it, chances are we got it, along with expert advice to get your job done right. Hey, boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. We talk all the time about Tri-County Contracting, the place to go for roofs and siding, but don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also does windows. Need a new front entry door? Tri-County Contracting, or maybe a patio door that's always jammed. Get your free estimates today. They've been helping homeowners like you for 46 years. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Siding is what pops on your home. Clean lines, beautiful accents, and wonderful colors can make your home really look amazing. Homeowners are always looking to add curb appeal when buying new siding, and a well-installed product from Siding Unlimited will definitely deliver a grand appeal. There is so much more to gain from replacing your siding other than the curb appeal you're already seeking. There is so much value in having new siding with low maintenance. Just an annual cleaning with the hose is all you really need to do. You can't get much lower maintenance than that. The process of replacing siding gives homeowners a fresh start, a new understanding knowing that we can peel back the old stuff and get a real in-depth inspection on the walls on your home and the structural integrity. How has the home performed over the past 20 years? We'll see it all when removing the old siding. There's a high percentage your home is missing the most important factor in siding a home, and that's a working water barrier. Many homes built in the 1990s and prior don't have a water barrier beneath the siding, and homes that were built in the 90s that do have one probably have a water barrier that was installed incorrectly. New siding replacement assures us that we install the water barrier correctly and protect the home moving forward. Our process always includes adding insulation board to the wall. This gives you a water barrier underlayment and additional R value, which is an energy coefficient, so warmer walls, adding more value to the project than the expected curb appeal. As the new siding goes back on, we know your home will be ready to manage water well into the future and look amazing doing so.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for siding and also replacement windows, roofing, and decks. Take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
It's 12:31. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, March 24th. Your top story, arrested for stabbing a child.
I'm Jessica Tighe. What to expect for opening day?
Decreasing clouds today, breezy, a high of 44 degrees, wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. Clear tonight and a low of 29. Sun and clouds on Tuesday, a high of 45. 37 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:31. A Milwaukee man arrested in Two Rivers for stabbing a child. 22-year-old Dominic Liggins accused of stabbing a girl in the chest at a home near 21st and Madison Street. Police responded to the home about 10 o'clock Saturday night. A SWAT team had a brief standoff with Liggins before he was arrested. The girl taken to a hospital for injuries. Charges are pending.
A tragedy at Marquette University in Milwaukee.
Marquette University police found a student dead in his off-campus apartment Thursday evening. 21-year-old John Kozer lived at Campus East on 14th and Wells. He was a senior, just weeks away from graduating from the College of Business Administration. Kozer was double majoring in finance and marketing and worked as a student employee at the Union Sports Annex. His death is still being investigated. The university is planning a mass to honor Kozer this week. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Preparations continue at American Family Field ahead of the Brewers' home opener. Monday of next week against the Royals.
Among several additions to American Family Field for 2025 includes a subtraction to the tune of 1,600 seats in right field where office space is being installed. Brewers President of Business Operations Rick Schlesinger.
The reality is that the new ballparks online and are going to smaller capacity.
Schlesinger adds capacity increase and decreases are determined by fan behaviors.
I think a number of those seats will be returned in different places around the ballpark.
At American Family Field, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Road closures begin today in Fox Point. Lake Drive is closing from School Road to Dean Road so crews can replace water mains and upgrade storm sewers. Drivers will be detoured to Port Washington Road from Silver Spring Drive or Brown Deer Road. The DOT hopes to reopen that road by the end of August.
A Wisconsin company has been named the best company to work for in America.
Madison-based Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation scored first place on the USA Today list for the second consecutive year. The company has 5,000 employees nationally and operates in all 50 states. Recently opened a second corporate location in Texas. Founded in 1996, Fairplace was also recently named a top workplace by Forbes magazine. More than 50 Wisconsin companies made the list. Other big national names near the top of the list, Fannie Mae and Progressive. John Merkier, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News time is 12:33.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scafidi and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handled all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
This March, Heiser Automotive Group is putting the pedal to the metal with our Accelerate Your Refund sales and service event. Tax season is the best time to upgrade your ride or take care of your current vehicle. And we're making it easier than ever to turn your tax refund into turbocharged buying power. Accelerate into a newer used vehicle or get essential repairs and maintenance done. Plus, with Heiser's exclusive Safe and Sound program, you can buy and service with confidence, convenience, and peace of mind. Visit Heiser.com today.
See dealer for complete details.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. With the trending spring and summer European travel season, Fox European experts mean you can maximize your time soaking up the warm weather, blooming flowers, and vibrant landscapes without worrying about your travel or missing a moment. Port hop along the Mediterranean with Viking or Princess, or design your own bucket list adventure with Insight Vacations. Visit us online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Your European immersion awaits.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers take on the Rockies this afternoon, wrapping up spring training in Arizona. Then it's off to New York for a 3-game series with the Yankees to begin the regular season on Thursday. Christian Yelich looking forward to it.
They're a great team. They have a lot of really talented players. It's going to be a tough series right out the gate, but it'll be fun. I think we're going to go in there and try to match that energy, compete really hard, and see what happens. I think that's all you can do.
Brewers begin the home season with a game against the Royals 1 week from today at American Family Field. Bucks are in Phoenix. They'll take on the Suns tonight. Coverage begins at 8:30 on WTMJ. Damian Lillard remains out with calf soreness. And the University of Wisconsin women's hockey team picks up its second national title in 3 years, beating Ohio State 4-3 in overtime.
Let's take a look at the roads right now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic. We're doing really well, to be honest. Something pops up and then boom, it's clear just a few minutes later. We have a disabled vehicle on the exit to Rawson Avenue from 4194 South, but traffic's moving along okay. And the only other thing, and I mentioned this last time, want to let you know, DOT is still reporting that the right lane is closed in I-94 South Collector beyond College Avenue because of some repairs. The cameras that I can see, I don't see that right now. So either that is done and they've cleared that up, or the camera that I'm looking at does not allow you to see it. So if you happen to drive by and you do notice that it's either open or closed, let us know.
Decreasing clouds, breezy, and a high of 44 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 29. Mixture of sun and clouds on Tuesday, looking at a high of 45 degrees. Partly cloudy on Wednesday with a high of 46. It's 37 and mostly cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:37. Well, the Texas parents of an unvaccinated 6-year-old girl who died from measles toward the end of February are speaking up and standing by their decision not to have any of their 4 children vaccinated, despite losing one to measles. The outbreak in West Texas, the biggest in the state in about 30 years, infecting more than 270 people, hospitalizing dozens. We welcome in ABC's Jim Ryan. Jim, what are the parents saying in defense of their decision?
Well, first, the numbers have actually risen since then, Greg. I'm talking about 309 cases of measles now. 40 people have been hospitalized. One of those patients who was hospitalized was a little 6-year-old girl known as Kaylee out in Gaines County, Texas. She eventually was intubated. She eventually went onto a ventilator and died from measles, according to the doctors who were treating her. Her parents had not gotten her vaccinated, nor had they gotten her 4 siblings vaccinated. They're members of the Mennonite community out there. They believe that it's in God's hands if their kids get sick, if they don't get sick. The other 4 children did actually get measles, but eventually did recover. The 6-year-old girl did not. The parents say that they still would not have gotten their kids vaccinated, even knowing that one of their children might die, because they say it's in God's hands. And the father said in an interview with this organization that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. founded, that measles is actually good for you because it builds up your immunity to other diseases.
I think some parents will hear this and be absolutely shocked that this couple said, despite our experience, despite one of our kids dying, we still would not give the vaccine. Do we know more about this particular experience, how bad the case was? And that won't even matter for some people, but just a little bit more into what this particular child dealt with.
Well, the mother took the child into the doctor initially because the child had a cough, seemed to have a cold, so the doctor gave her some cough medication. The girl then, after she went home, spiked a fever, and the mother took her to the doctor again. They hospitalized the child, and eventually she died. She died from this illness. Now, the parents and this Children's Health Defense, which is the Robert F. Kennedy group, they say that the child should have been treated for pneumonia. Now, pneumonia, of course, Jessica, is a byproduct of measles, and it's often the pneumonia associated with measles that kills you. Well, some in this group and others say that cod liver oil, supplements, vitamins, these things can be treated, that the child should have had breathing treatments as well, and that she might have come through this just fine. Doctors, traditional medicine, they say that's not true. The vaccination is still the best way to protect a child.
Jim, are others in that Mennonite community speaking out?
No. Not that I've seen. Well, the leader of one of the churches there, one of the big Mennonite churches, has talked about this, has said that, that he doesn't necessarily preach against the vaccination, but that he doesn't necessarily preach for it either. He leaves it up to the parents. But I think that there's some tenet within the Mennonite belief that puts things in God's hands, including the health of kids, and that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. The mother says the child's now in a better place, her 6-year-old daughter, that she was too good for this earth.
Hospitals can never come out and talk directly about a particular patient unless, of course, everyone has given the go-ahead because of HIPAA laws. But I'm wondering, in this case, whether the hospital has come out and said anything in regards to measles or the vaccine, knowing what these parents are now saying to the community.
Well, they're saying that the posting on the Children's Health Defense website, the interview with the parents, that it contains a lot of bad information. That there are things that are said there that just aren't true about the treatment the child had, about her time in the hospital, and that sort of thing. So, yes, you're right. They don't mention the children's name, the patient's name, the parent's name, but they do say that this posting on the CHD website is has false information.
Well, and they weren't anti-establishment here, Jim, right? You mentioned that the girl was intubated. She died a few days later. They took her to the hospital. She was having trouble breathing, laboring through just meaningless everyday tasks. So the family knew that she needed help. They weren't anti-establishment, even though they kind of rely on the phrase, this is in God's hands.
Right. No, that's true. And it's kind of an interesting take. I think that once the child started getting sick, it's not as though they thought they regretted the decision not to have her vaccinated. Instead, in fact, they say flatly, no, knowing what we know now, we still wouldn't have our daughter vaccinated, nor would we have her 4 siblings vaccinated. But at the same time, you're right. They go to a traditional doctor. The doctor says, no, she's got a cold. She's got some issues. But then when she spikes a fever, they take the child back and they recognize that it's the measles. So you're right. It's not necessarily against modern medicine, but it is against vaccination.
I can only imagine people in the medical community, their reaction when they hear that this father said, also, the measles are good for the body.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's frustrating. It is frustrating. Here's an interesting side note to this whole thing. The Children's Health Defense, founded by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in 2007, has this website. That's where they posted this interview, and they have a lot of stuff there. It's all sort of anti-vaccination information. They believe that, again, cod liver oil and different things can be used to prevent or to treat measles. But the CHD had a site on its own, a page on its website that mimicked the CDC, looked just like the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention page, the measles information page, except that it draws a distinction between measles and the vaccine and autism, and seems to draw this link. Well, that was enough for even Robert F. Kennedy. He contacted this group that he founded and said, look, you got to take that page down because it's got bad information on it.
Well, and Kennedy himself softened his stance, suggesting that the measles vaccine could be helpful.
Yes, he does say that, but that's not a flat-out urging of parents to go and get your kids vaccinated. He still kind of hedges on that.
ABC's Jim Ryan covering the story in Texas. Jim, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, guys. See you.
Coming up next, new details on a court proceeding from Outagamie County involving Tesla. We've got the details after this.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. At BBC, we sell all the top brands of lights and ceiling fans, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Schoenbeck Crystal, and hundreds more. We get every brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. In our award-winning showroom, you'll also find factory closeouts with lights and fans priced well below their original cost. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's, near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Hey, if you're thinking of ways to improve the exterior of your home, don't rule out the garage door. That's right. Just think about what that means. You want to get money back on an investment? Garage doors. And no better place to go to than Geis. 70 years. Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Greg Matzek here saying check out the folks at Geis for all of your garage door needs. Any project size, big or small. They came out a couple of months ago and fixed the stripping around the perimeter of our garage door. Now our door opens a little more smoothly. No gaps. It's great. They did a great job. It's Geis. Visit geisdoors.com. Check out their showroom in Brookfield off Barker Road with brands like CHI and LiftMaster. You'll notice what I noticed. Doors for every budget. They even have a custom design center for your custom design needs. Don't think twice. Call Geis and visit geisdoors.com.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at accunet.com.
Painting your house is a big job. You want it done right. John Mercure here. Do what I did. Go with the professionals, the best in the business at Serta Pro Painters. They do inside, they do outside, and they do it right every single time. As a matter of fact, right now, they've got a spring sales event going on through May 15th. Each Serta Pro Painters business is independently owned and operated, and they do everything the right way. Schedule your free estimate online right now at CertaPro.com. That's Serta with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose Serta Pro Painters.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores has been voted the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's best in thrift. So to all who voted for us, thank you. And to those who haven't yet been here, there are so many items to explore. And at thrift store prices, you can find a really great deal. At the same time, you'll be helping us help others, sometimes folks right in your own neighborhood. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
45 degrees your high today. Wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. Mainly cloudy. Clear overnight and a low of 29. Back into the mid-40s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Back into the mid-50s on Thursday and Friday. 37 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:48. So a little over a month ago, Tesla filed a petition in the Outagamie County Circuit Court to challenge Wisconsin's decision blocking Tesla from opening dealerships in the state, arguing that the state's factory store law unfairly restricts their business model. There was a motion hearing today. It happened about 9:30 this morning in Outagamie Circuit Court. And ultimately, the judge decided that we're going to kick this thing down to Milwaukee or Madison. We did no point in doing this in Outagamie County. There are no Tesla service centers up here. Yes, you might want to have a dealership in Outagamie County, but why are we involved in this? We don't need to be. So Tesla has chosen to move this to Milwaukee County. So it's kind of being kicked down the road a little bit, Jessica. But here's the long and short of it. The short of it is this. Tesla wants dealerships in the state of Wisconsin. Right now it has two service centers. One is located off Silver Spring in Waukesha County as Milwaukee turns into Menominee Falls.
Okay.
The other one's located in Madison. And what Tesla is saying is, look, we can just convert these service centers into full-fledged dealerships. They have a direct-to-consumer model. In other words, there's no markup. It is flat pricing, direct-to-consumer. Well, now you've got these dealerships in Wisconsin who are protected by the Wisconsin Automobile and Truck Dealers Association saying, nope, we don't want that. That group represents independent auto dealers who work with Honda, Toyota, Ford, you name it, and then, of course, have a markup for sale to the consumers. So direct from manufacturer to consumer, not allowed in the state of Wisconsin. The state is fighting this.
So in a nutshell, in 2024, the electric car company applied for this dealer's license to sell its vehicles here. State denies the request in December. Tesla wanted an exemption to the Wisconsin state law, and our law prohibits car makers from owning dealerships. So now you have Tesla, who's suing. I've got that up on my computer right now, the filing date, January 15th. It's interesting because I'm sure people who have a Tesla are all in tune to this, but I remember a couple years ago at the Milwaukee Auto Show, there was a Tesla there, and I was kind of interested in it. And I was asking around, and you couldn't drive them. You know how they used to give you, do they still do that? Can you still drive? I didn't ask to do that, but can you still drive the cars? They used to do that. It was a really cool feature. You could go and drive some of the cars at the Milwaukee Auto Show.
There were some individual manufacturers that would set up sort of, I think on Wells Street underneath the skywalk going over the road, and there'd be cars lined up and you could take one for a test drive. But they no longer allow the dealers to spend time actively walking the showroom floor. So that's kind of removed that from what you can do at the auto show.
I gotcha. Well, that made me think about this Tesla because you certainly couldn't drive it. But if I remember correctly, I don't think you could get in it either. It was there and you could talk to the guy. And I remember it almost seemed shady, though it wasn't. I just didn't know the laws at the time. And he was like, yeah, we don't have any dealerships here and whatnot. So then I was talking to somebody about what you would need to do if you wanted Tesla. Again, this is years ago. And this year at the Milwaukee Auto Show, they didn't even have any Teslas to be seen. And the guy had said, well, it's because we don't sell them here. But now when I think back to this lawsuit, it makes me wonder if because this is going on, they're like, we're just not going to deal with that. Because they did, even though they did not have a dealership here a couple years ago, they were at the auto show.
Very good friend of mine, family expanded, wanted a new Tesla that could accommodate the 3 children in their family, had to go to Illinois to get it. It's brand new. He ordered it, was able to pick it up. No issues, but he had to get it in Illinois. It's just kind of the hassle in the process. You might see a used Tesla on a dealership lot. It's not common. Maybe it's becoming more common right across the country as people are trying to distance themselves from Elon Musk's company. But Tesla had an idea for several dealerships in the state of Wisconsin. At the service centers, which I mentioned, off Silver Spring Drive in Milwaukee and off Siebold Road in Madison, they also proposed locations in Glendale and in Grand Chute, thus Outagamie County. So those would be correct. Those would be built out of nothing, right? It would be we got to erect the store, build the store. They've got existing infrastructure here in Milwaukee and Madison. But again, their business model does not allow them to sell to customers in the state. They have a direct sale to consumer system. It's flat priced, making it impossible for independent dealers to operate with any level of profit. So they're saying, hey, we don't want this, right? But Tesla's fighting for it. It would be like if Lincoln decided to open a store off Mayfair Road. Like, well, you can't do that. You've got Uptown Ford Lincoln right down the road. They are the ones who will sell you those brands.
Because of our state law. And there has been some debate. Some people are probably wondering, okay, well, can we change this? Sure, we could. There has been some debate in the past about changing the state law to allow Tesla to open dealerships in Wisconsin. State lawmakers, they proposed, I think it was back in 2018, and then there was amendment to the state budget in 2019, but then Governor Tony Evers vetoed it. So boom, that was dead at that point. But you mentioned where people go to, or, the people aren't buying, obviously, here in Wisconsin. Sales to Wisconsin customers typically happen in Illinois or Minnesota. So not too far. You can go down to Illinois and get your Tesla or go up to Minnesota to get one.
So today was just a motion hearing, so it's going to be moved to Milwaukee. Some people believe this will end up in the Wisconsin Supreme Court at some point. And, of course, it's a very hotly contested race right now in the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Yes.
And Elon Musk has backed the Republican candidate, Brad Schimmel. We'll see where this goes, but I can understand the dot connecting that folks are doing, because I don't think this is going to get solved in a Milwaukee Circuit Court, right? It's going to get bigger than that, I would have to think.
We shall see.
12:54. We'll wrap up the program with some final thoughts after this.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
Clearly, Pride Fest has benefited from organizations who want to show their commitment to diversity.
Entertainment.
It's real-life drama. I would also call it true crime. It is just such a bizarre story.
And more.
We're able to tap about 400 trees and make some delicious maple syrup.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
Your stress-free spring break trip starts in your driveway with Go Right Way, Wisconsin's largest chauffeured fleet. Start your vacation as soon as you leave your house by letting Go Right Way handle your rides to and from Mitchell Field or O'Hare. Luggage? Go Right Way has it. Traffic? Go Right Way handles it. Parking hassles? You won't miss them. Go Right Way's professional, on-time chauffeurs are background checked, and their vehicles are premium and meticulously cleaned. Your journey starts with a ride you can trust. Book your ride today at GoRightWay.com.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Save up to 50% on the project, then save so much more on your energy costs. Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Apply for multiple generous rebate programs that can cut the cost of home insulation in half. Jeff and his team perform an energy audit to help you qualify. Then the project, filling your walls with quieting, filtering, insulating foam that saves you money on heating and cooling from day one. USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Text the word Midday to 855-616-1620, and we'll get you all the information of our podcast back to your mobile device. That's 855-616-1620. Text the word Midday. Wisconsin's Midday News podcast is powered by and built by Siding Unlimited. I cannot believe that opening day in Milwaukee is 1 week from today.
Yep, it's
1 week.
coming up. I'm wondering what the weather's going to be like. Technically, we can look right now, but it's a little early because we can have anything on opening day. I've seen snow, I've seen sun, I've seen rain.
You might get all that in one day, as a matter of fact.
True.
We'll have some specialty programming, by the way. So a week from today, we'll be about 15 minutes away from first pitch at this present time. Wisconsin's Morning News going to run a little long. They're going to go 6 to 10, and then Steve Scafidi and I are going to host an opening day special from 10 to noon, leading us into our Brewers Network coverage. But always a great day. We'll be inside the stadium. We'll have people on the outside of the stadium, at the bars, right? Just sort of soaking in all that the day presents itself. And then, of course, all the memorable tributes that we expect for Bob Uecker on opening day in Milwaukee. It's going to hit, I think, on opening day in Milwaukee specifically, the fact that Bob is gone, right? Typically wouldn't be on the road for opening day in New York, but you're so used to hearing his voice for opening day in Milwaukee.
Oh, yes. I mean, there are going to be tributes out there as people are tailgating, and it's going to be different. It's going to be sad, but you also know that he would want the fans to have a blast and live it up for him, for Uke.
No doubt about that. Spanning the State is coming up following the news, which is next on WTMJ.
Football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay.